Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Esaiah, which is the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 1 and 3. Now thus says Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee. O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. For I am Yahweh thy Elohim, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, I am redeemed.
Always. The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving up thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. Today we're going to deal with a few issues about being chosen as first unto Yahweh. It's one of those situations where we enjoy the power of being those people, but we also have to understand that there's a great responsibility, and power and responsibility always goes hand in hand. What makes this intricate is that we have people in the land who these curses were not put upon them. So it makes it very difficult as we begin to learn who we are, and we witness these people who end up having all of the pluses but not the minuses. Well, all of the things that were spoken, it wasn't those individuals who stood before Yahweh and said, all the things you have said will we do. It wasn't those individuals. So they are not getting punished. Matter of fact, Yahweh says, I'm going to provoke you with the foolish nation. So I'm going to allow people to come in your land and do the things that I told you not to do, and I'm still not going to destroy them. There is no better way than to provoke someone to jealousy than that. And we can see that in our own houses. One of your kids do something, and you whip that kid for doing that. And then another kid does the same thing. Don't whoop that kid and see what happens. You have created a serious schism in your house because one of them is saying, wait a minute, I did the same thing. And no whooping, came to this individual, and I got dealt with for this. So Yahweh is definitely setting a precedent in some of the things that he is doing. And we have to, just consider. We kind of forget that Israel is called Canaan land. So when we deal with the curse of the first, you have to consider, even before Yahweh got ready to make a nation for himself, there was somebody already in that land. What would have taken place if those individuals had done what they were supposed to do? Now, when the children of Israel were delivered from Egypt, they didn't understand that even though they were free, they were not ready for freedom. In turn, the first group were cast off. The children were not ready to receive the first set of tables. In turn, the first tables were broken. The children asked for a king, but the king was not prepared. And so the first king was cast off. The first receives a double portion. But if not handled correctly, this right can turn into double dishonor. Let's begin at Exodus chapter 13. We love that part about receiving a double portion. We don't really understand that that's a double portion of judgment if we don't handle that right. It's all fine and dandy, double portion of good stuff. We all want 2 scoops of ice cream. Now that 2 scoops of hell is something altogether different. We want to definitely get a half scoop of that. Exodus 13, let's start at verse 1.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever opens the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine.
Yahweh said, I created the first. The first of everything belongs to me. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto the people, Remember this day in which you came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by strength of hand Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came you out in the month of Abib. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month.
Right. So as you go about to watch things on the internet, you're going to realize that with all the rhetoric that you're going to hear, there's a whole lot that you're not going to hear. You're not going to hear that Israel was called Canaan land. You're not going to hear of anything about the Canaanites, because the people who possess that land, they do not want to get into that conversation, because that conversation can eventually reveal some things about who they are. So they're not going to have any Canaan land conversations. Go ahead.
7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to Yahweh. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with you, neither there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And you shall sow your son in that day, saying, This is done because of that which Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt.
Right. So then now there's a practice of removing the leaven. The leaven is what causes the bread to rise. When something is risen or puffed up against Yahweh, it decides that it's not going to follow Yahweh. So there is an ordinance that allows us to go through the process of trying to remove sin out of our houses. The leaven is representation of sin that rises. So every year you go through this process. And if we think about it, sometimes we get dismayed when it comes to removing spiritual sin out of our house. But how comfortable was it to get the natural leaven out your house? Your house was a mess, wasn't it? You had to pull all this stuff out the cabinets, put it all on the counter, You have those things that are listed that have leaven in it. Then you got the leaven that doesn't fall down in the back. That's all in the back of the cabinet. Well, that's your sin. You got the stuff that's got sin written on the package. And then you got the sin that dripped in the back of your cabinet. So you got to go get that. How comfortable was that? It wasn't. So then when it's time to deal with those same type of instances spiritually, we all of a sudden act like we don't understand why it is an uncomfortable part. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. And he has you to practice this every year. Go ahead.
And it shall be a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that Yahweh's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand has Yahweh brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto you and to your fathers, and shall give it you, that you shall set apart unto Yahweh all that opens the matrix, and every firstling that comes of a beast which you have, the males shall be Yahweh's. And every firstling of an ass you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you will not redeem it, then you shall break his neck. And all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem. And it shall be, when your son asks you in time to come, saying, What is this? That you shall say unto him, By strength of hand Yahweh brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage.
So your children are supposed to see you doing this so much that eventually they ask, what is this? Why we do this? Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yahweh slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahweh all that opens the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. And it shall be for a token upon your hand, and for frontlets between your eyes. For by strength of hand Yahweh brought us forth out of Egypt.
All right, so now let's go to Numbers chapter 3. We need to finish dealing with the firstborn. So Yahweh says the firstborn of all animals, being males, are his. With man, he has allowed man to be redeemed, meaning that man does not have to be sacrificed. Numbers chapter 3, and let's read first. We're going to go to verses 5 through 13.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near, and present them before Aaron and the priests, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation, to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the children of Israel, to do the service of the tabernacle. And you shall give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the children of Israel.
They are wholly given. So when you start reading and going into parts where Samuel was brought and left there, it says, these people are wholly given for this service. So they have to encamp round about the tabernacle because they're going to constantly be in need for service. Go ahead.
And you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest office. And the stranger that comes near shall be put to death. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, And I, behold, I have even taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that opens the matrix.
So then Yahweh has made a change. Yahweh our Elohim has made a change. He says the firstborn is his, but now he has chosen the Levites and chosen them instead of the firstborn. Go ahead.
Among the children of Israel, therefore the Levites shall be mine. Because all the firstborn are mine, for on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am Yahweh.
So check that out. The firstborn are still his, but the Levites are going to represent all of that. But that firstborn is still Yahweh's. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Go ahead, bro. You know what? No, jump to verse 40. Thank you, bro.
Numbers chapter 3 and verse 40. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names. And you shall take the Levites for me, I am Yahweh, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Israel. And Moshe numbered, as Yahweh commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel. And all the firstborn males by the number of their names, from a month old and upward, of those that were numbered of them, were 22,213. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am Yahweh. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 213 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites, you shall even take 5 shekels apiece by the pole. After the shekel of the sanctuary shall you take them. The shekel is 20 gerahs. And you shall give the money wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons.
Right. Since they represent Yahweh, then what comes from the other firstborn has to be given unto them. Go ahead.
And Moshe took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborn of the children of Israel took he the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moshe gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
All right. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Now the Levites now have a great responsibility. Deuteronomy chapter 21, and we're going to read verses 10 through 17.
When you go forth to war against your enemies, and Yahweh your Elohim has delivered them into your hands, and you have taken them captive, and seeth among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that you would have her to your wife, then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in your house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that you shall go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife.
Right. Shaving the head is the completion of a vow. This is the very reason why when they accused Saul of not keeping the law, they said, go to the temple and go through the changes that you may shave and do all of those ordinances so the people understand that you also are orderly and keep the law. Go ahead.
And it shall be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall let her go whither she will. But you shall not sell her at all for money. You shall not make merchandise of her, because you have humbled her. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and one hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be, when he makes his sons to inherit that which he has, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
So the beginning of his strength gets a double portion. The right of the firstborn is his. What's sad there is Yahweh had to put the wife of the hated. Why would anybody have a wife they hate? Let's go to First Chronicles chapter 5. So it mentioned there the birthright. The birthright was given unto that firstborn, and that firstborn received that double portion. So 1 Chronicles chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 and 2.
Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but for as much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel.
Now, wait a minute. So now there is an order of how this goes with the firstborn. But then, because there's also responsibility, now we're reading that that birthright was then taken away and given to another child. Now, this took place in Genesis. Okay, so we're talking pre-law, when that order was not kept, the birthright was changed. Go ahead.
And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright.
Uh-huh.
For Yehuda prevailed above his brethren.
Right, Judah number 4, but yet Judah becomes king. Go ahead.
And of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph's.
Wait a minute. The birthright then was given Joseph. He damn near last. So the birthright didn't go according to their time of birth. It went according to the character of those individuals. So Yahweh has a normal structure of birthright. Then he has that point, well, all right, who gonna stand? Who gonna stand and who gonna walk? Who gonna do what they supposed to do? And if an individual does not do that, that birthright can be taken and given to another son. But then you look at what all Joseph had to do to get that birthright. Joseph went through more than any of those other brothers. Nobody else went through as much hell as Joseph. So with that birthright also came some serious responsibility. So you can't have the power without having that responsibility. And he did take care of both of those. Go ahead, Priest.
You know, before reading this statement here, we don't even account Joseph for anything. We just look at the ruling people, Judah,
Yep.
Levi, and Benjamin.
You ain't heard not one person walking around talking about, hey, tribe of Manasseh, brother. Tribe of Manasseh, brother. You ain't heard not one dude. Come on. Go on the internet. See who you hear say tribe of yourself. Either say Ephraim or Manasseh. Not a nary, not a noun, not a noun, not a noun. But you see that when we out making our little tribal banners, we don't even understand what it is we dealing with. But see, we following what those people do. Because even though people are telling you that they are the people of the land, they themselves said they ain't nothing but Benjamin and Judah. Now, how you going to be a holy land and you ain't got none of the priests there? Priests come out of Levi. Even by their own account, the people that's in the land don't claim to be Levites. You holy, but you don't know where your priest at. Why you think we got the song? What a priest at? Tell me what a priest at. Kohen, where they at? How you have a land, but by your own account, you don't know what a priest at? Go ahead.
According to the new documentary, the Limba tribe got more Kohen blood than them.
Right.
They know where they're at. They just ain't telling you.
Hey, brother, they can go down in Africa and find a whole lot of people that have more Kohen blood or Israelite blood or anything more than those individuals. Because you have the proselytes who have converted, and then the converted ones were not under the curses. So the converted ones were able to stay and maintain, while the ones who it was originally given to were punished. So now the converts have more that they can say concerning culture than anybody else. Because the ones who the promise was given to were kicked out. You know, if we spend any time reading this book, we should always ask the question, how are the Jews and the Gentiles in power at the same time? Anybody read this book more than 15 minutes should be asking, how both of y'all be in power? And not only are both of y'all in power, I can't tell the difference between y'all. I can't figure out which one, you know. I mean, if he fall and take something off, I can't figure out, hey man, which one of y'all came from Europe? I can't figure out. How is that possible? Because when these brothers went down into Egypt, they didn't even know that Joseph, that was their brother. They thought it was an Egyptian. Now, I don't care if you go ancient Egyptian or them people who lying saying that they Egyptian now. That still don't look like what's in that land. So none of these lines add up. So then a term has to be created so that anytime you ask a biblical question, you must be anti-something. See, you can't ask a real question or you must be anti-something. That's the way the game is being played. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 25. Genesis 25, and we're going to read verses 19 through 34.
Verse 19. And these are the generations of Esau, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Esau. And Esau was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Paddan Aram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Esau entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Wait a minute. This automatically goes against the order of the birthright right at the rip before there's any delivery. There's an upset in the birthright process. Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Esau was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Esau loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray you, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day your birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I'm at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
What profit shall this birthright do to me? It's not profitable right now, so it don't mean nothing. Now, when it does become profitable, it gonna mean something. See, a lot of times we'll treat something or mistreat something, we don't care nothing about it until somebody pick it up. Wait a minute, I was playing with that. No, you ain't want it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't paying no attention. You mistreated it. Go ahead.
Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Right. So then when the ultimate move comes whereby Jacob supplants him, now it is a angry situation, and he says he has stolen my birthright. He didn't understand that he had already sold it. Now, this is how Yahweh can decide how he's going to account something. Do you understand that this we're dealing with a good space in time where he sells this birthright because he's hungry. Then later on, of course, he thought he just sold it for today. Yeah, you got that. He think that the sale is just today. Like, I get my birthright back tomorrow. But Yahweh decided, no, there it is. No, you just sold it forever. See, you don't get to tell Yahweh how he can deal with his creation. That's something that we need to consider. Did you finish that?
Yes.
Let's go to chapter 48. Genesis chapter 48, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, Behold, your father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, Behold, your son Joseph comes unto you. And Israel strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, El Shaddai appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I'll make you fruitful and multiply you, and I'll make of you a multitude of people, and I'll give this land to your seed after you for an everlasting possession. And now your two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto you in the land of Egypt before I came unto you into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine.
So because of all of the turmoil that Joseph has been made to go through, even though he was slated as the savior of the family, now his father says, I'm going to take them unto me. And I understand now, this is not going to be like your offspring. I'm finna pull them in with the 12 tribes. I'm going to pull them in. They my kids now. So what's going to proceed from them is going to be different than if it just proceeded from you. Go ahead.
And your issue, which you beget after them, shall be yours.
See, now, your issue which you beget after them, now them your kid. Mm-hmm. But these two mine. For what? For sake of the blessing. No. See, Yahweh gonna do. I know you did with a lot of stuff, that boy. But Big Daddy got the blessing. So let me tell you, these mine. Let Big Daddy take care of this. Let Big Daddy take care. Look, you do anything you do. You that sweet looking woman you got over there. Look at y'all gonna have some more kids. Cause these right here, these mine. I'm gonna put my blessing on these right here. These gonna be different than from anything else you do. Go ahead.
And shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance.
Uh-huh.
And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come on to Ephrathah. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrathah. The same is Bethlehem, And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray you, unto me, and I'll bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see.
So at this point, he gonna think that, okay, because my daddy can't see that good. He don't really understand what's going on. Go ahead.
And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, and lo, Elohim has showed me also your seed. Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Esaac did walk, the El of which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Esau, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him.
Okay, now, because he said, wait a minute, this is not the way this is supposed to be done. Now, here's a man that is the savior of them all now. So wait a minute, he should have some pull, right? Not old Big Daddy. Go ahead.
And even in the he tried to set it the way he thought it would be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head onto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand upon his head.
Put your right hand upon his head. Go ahead.
And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations.
He said, I know where I'm putting my right hand. I understand the order that is in the earth about the firstborn and the right of the firstborn, but I'm telling you, this little boy here is different. This ain't going to go according to the regular birthright. This is different. Go ahead.
And he blessed them that day, saying, In you shall Israel bless, saying, Elohim make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but Elohim shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow.
All right. Let's go to Psalm 89. So we see that even though there is order in the earth, and we're talking about pre-law here. When we talk about this right of the firstborn, it is in the earth before biblical law. There is no biblical law in Genesis, and this understanding and right of the first receiving a double portion is there in the earth, not just limited to the children of Israel. It's in the earth, period. Psalm 89, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. I will sing of mercies of Yahweh forever. With my mouth will I make known your faithfulness to all generations. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Your faithfulness shall you establish in the very heavens. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David my servant. Your seed will I establish forever, and build up your throne to all generations. And the heavens shall praise your wonders, O Yahweh, your faithfulness also in the congregation of the saints. For who in the heaven can be compared unto Yahweh? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto Yahweh? Elohim is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. O Yahweh Elohim of hosts, who is as strong as Yahweh like unto you, or to your faithfulness round about you? You ruleth the raging of the sea. When the waves thereof arise, you stills them. You have broken Rahab in pieces as one that is slain. You have scattered your enemies with your strong arm. The heavens are yours, the earth also is yours. As for the world and the fullness thereof, you have founded them. The north and the south, you have created them. Tabor and Hermon shall rejoice in your name. You have a mighty arm, strong is your hand, and high is your right hand. Justice and judgment are the habitations of your throne. Mercy and truth shall go before your face. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Yahweh, in the light of your countenance. In your name shall they rejoice all the day, and in your righteousness shall they be exalted. For you art the glory of their strength, and in your favor our horn shall be exalted. For Yahweh is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is our King. Then you spaketh in vision to your Holy One, and said, I have laid help upon you, upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people.
It says in verse 18, for Yahweh is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is our King. What did he say when the children of Israel desired a king? He says, it's me they got a problem with. They don't wish that I should rule over them. Now, they like what all I provide. They like living, you know what I'm saying, in my land. They just don't like me. Go ahead.
I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and plague them that hate him.
Plague them that hate him. Go ahead.
But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I'll set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers. He shall cry unto me, you are my Father, my Elohim, and the rock of my salvation. Also I'll make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth.
Wait a minute. Also I will make him my firstborn. When something is pleasing unto Yahweh, he changes the order as he will. He said, no. He my firstborn. Wait a minute, Yahweh, you know how many sons of Elohim you done already had? Now we're not even talking about like 12 no more. We talking about many. He my firstborn now. I have chosen. So that means he's going to deal with him like a firstborn. Go ahead.
My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him.
Right. My mercy will I keep for him. Yahweh still disciplined when he did wrong. He just didn't take everything from him. Even when he punished him, he still punished him with a different kind of hand. Go ahead.
His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. If his children forsake my law, and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes, and keep not my commandments, then will I visit their transgression with the rod, and their lawlessness with stripes. Nevertheless, my loving kindness will I not utterly take from him.
Right. If his children do this, I'm going to punish his children. But because of him, I will not utterly take my glory away from them. We don't even understand what ends up happening. Things happen to us that we should have been out of here. We can't even figure out. It happened to other people. They at the morgue. It happened to other people. They in the ground pushing up daisies. It happened to us. We just come out dizzy. How you live, boy? Boy, how you live? He said, oh, I'm going to punish him. You know, I'm going to hit him with the rod. But I ain't going to take my glory away from him. He going to walk up out that whole dizzy, but he going to know I got slapped by something. I don't know what, I didn't see what it was, but I felt the hand go across. Go ahead.
nor suffer my faithfulness to fail. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips.
Mm-hmm.
Once I have sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto Dawid.
Uh-huh.
His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me.
Right. Sometimes you don't even understand that your endurance ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. You doing this and you doing that ain't got a damn thing to do with you. It was already decided before you got here. It was decided when your daddy saw your mama at Club Watusa. It was a done deal right there. Whatever come from that, right there. It ain't nothing to do with you. You were born into that. But you're going to walk in that. Go ahead.
It shall be established forever as the moon and as a faithful witness in heaven.
All right. Let's go to Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8, and we're going to read verses 12 through 39.
Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live.
And that's a process. You don't just do something one time and now you done conquered the flesh. You're going to fight the flesh every day. So you think, saying, yeah, I beat flesh Tuesday. Hey, but you out your mind? You think you beat flesh Tuesday? You're going to be fighting flesh next Tuesday, next Tuesday, next Tuesday. You out of your mind. Go ahead.
For as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Elohim, and joint heirs with Yahshua, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together.
Now, wait a minute. So we get to affect the inheritance by the suffering that we allow ourselves to go through in him. Wait a minute. We are, because see, everybody, when the inheritance is read, everybody show up. You want to see something? You want to see something? You want to see something? Now, let a family member pass and watch how everybody start fighting over stuff that don't even matter. I want mama coat. I want mama earrings, the one that had the blue in the middle. And now you got all kind of cat fights going on. What's happening? Now we fighting over the inheritance, right? Wait a minute. He always said, check this out. I'm going to decide in the inheritance by how you operate in your living. How do you operate? You affecting your inheritance right there. Go ahead.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waits for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim.
The whole earth waiting for you to be manifested. If it was already so, the earth should be in peace. If the sons of Elohim got manifested in the 40s. That's all I'm saying. The earth should be happy. If the sons of Elohim were manifested in the 1940s, the earth should be happy by now. What the hell is 2024? Well, damn, what the earth? Did the earth sleep? Okay, well then the sons of Elohim ain't been manifested yet, according to what I'm reading and according to what I'm seeing. Okay, go ahead.
For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Elohim.
Man, the earth get free when the children of Elohim are manifested. Do you understand that the earth waiting on us? You think the earth like getting fracked? Hey, look here. Hey, that is where they go. Let me explain that. All right. When they just gonna make a place give up oil, they have a process where they call it fracking, and it completely tears up all the ecosystem around it, but they get oil so they can get money. But everything surrounding it dies. You think the earth like that? What did the earth get out the deal? Okay. Go ahead, Bree.
Verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groans and travails in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man sees, why does he yet hope for it?
Right. So we will want the direction of Elohim, but then we want the direction of Elohim to come like, the GPS signal. Turn left. Not turn right. Slow down. Wait a minute. Hold on, man. But you think Yahweh your valet? You think he finna yell out every turn that he wants you to make? That what you think he about to do? Who the hell the servant is? Which one of y'all the servant? He's supposed to yell out every turn. Don't go this way. Traffic up ahead. Boy, stop. Go ahead.
But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. Likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself makes intercessions for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
That's why I tell people, go ahead, approach unto the altar. Say the prayer that you gotta say. That don't mean that's what Yahweh heard. But go ahead and say what you gotta say. And hopefully the angels stand right beside you. Yahweh, don't listen to none of that. Look, let me tell you what they need. They're what they need right here. They don't know no better. Yahweh, they slow. They slow. Now you hope the angel come behind you and call you slow. He said, no. This is what they need. They need this right here, and they need to take care of this right here. The Spirit helps with that. Because see, part of those things you don't know you need because it ain't happened to you yet. See? You don't know the prayer about the loss of a job that ain't happened yet. You ain't went down to the altar and prayed, you know what, Yahweh, let me, I need to get another job. You don't know you need one yet. You gonna get fired next week. Yeah, you ain't got fired this week. So when you go down to the altar and you praying, you think everything good. I want to get those 20s. I'm gonna put them on the Corolla. Now, Yahweh, I know the Corolla not gonna turn when I put it on there, but I just want to go straight ahead. That's all I want to do, y'all. Now, so then the angel just slap you right upside your head. Don't listen to none of that, Yahweh. Don't listen to none of that. This is what they need. Go ahead.
Verse 27. He that searches the hearts knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of Elohim. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Elohim, to whom are the called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. What shall we then say to these things? If Elohim be for us, who can be against us? He that spared not his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of Elohim's elect? It is Elohim that justifies. Who is he that condemns? It is the Mashiach that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of Elohim, who also makes intercessions for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Yahshua? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword?
Any of these things are what causes us to walk away from the word. We get any bit of that and we out. Then we separated ourselves. Go ahead.
As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature should be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Yahshua HaMashiach, our Adonai.
All right, so let's go to John chapter 8. Yohanan chapter 8. So the sons of Elohim abide by the Spirit, then they receive that adoption. So now you're talking about spiritually being those firstborn. But there's power and there's responsibility in that. Yohanan chapter 8, and let's start at verse 39.
They answered and said unto him, Abraham's our father. Yahshua says unto them, if you were Abraham's children, you would not do the... If you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham.
Right. So now we're getting down to a different ordination when it comes down to the heirs. So it's not so much as dealing with the earthly falling of the seed, but how do we walk and what spirit are we walking in? Go ahead.
But now you seek to kill me, a man that has told you the truth, which I have heard of Elohim. This did not Abraham.
Now, see, this is where lines get drawn, because the people believe that they are one way, but they have gotten angry against this individual, and once you then go and attempt to destroy one of the sons of Elohim, you have chosen a side opposite of the sons of Elohim. Go ahead.
You do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one father, even Elohim.
Right. They're looking at it in that way. Go ahead.
Yahshua said unto them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from Elohim. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my words. You are of your father the devil.
You have chosen a spiritual father. You have chosen. Now, it doesn't matter who is your natural father. It doesn't matter what lineage you are of. You have chosen your father. Go ahead.
And the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
So he got lie royalties. You lie, you got to pay him. You can't just play somebody's song on the radio and not pay them people for playing their song. Well, Lucifer said, you can't just lie my lie and not pay me. See, now you owe me. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my money. Now how you gonna pay me? You think you can just lie and not pay the maker of the lie? He said, no, man, I own this. So this is my intellectual property. He said, well, nobody lying till I start lying. Luke said, man, I brought lies here, bro. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you think you just gonna lie and you think you're not gonna pay me? No, you're gonna pay me. Oh, you ain't got no money? Well, come on back in my office then. No, he loved to hear that. Oh, you ain't got no money? Come on back to the office. We can work something out. But you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him. That lie belongs to him. He invented it. He got the patent. You're not going to tell one and not pay one. You're going to pay him. Now, how you going to pay? I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's between you and Lou. Go ahead, Brent.
And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convinced me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of Elohim hears Elohim's words. You therefore hear them not, because you are not of Elohim.
You don't have ears to hear. Even though you have ears, you do not have ears to hear. All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 21. Lucifer has to be making an enormous amount of residual income from that lie creation. Good God Almighty. He ain't got to work no more. He just he coming in like rent, you know. Boy. Genesis chapter 21, and let's read verses 1 through 14.
And Yahweh visited Sarah as he had said. And Yahweh did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, and at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Esau. And Abraham circumcised his son Esau, being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Esau was born unto him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Esau was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Esau. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And Elohim said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad and because of your bondwoman. In all that Sarah has said unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Esau shall your seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba.
All right, now jump to chapter 22 and read verses 1 and 2.
And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto Abraham, and he said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now your son, your only son Esau.
Now wait a minute. He didn't just now put this boy in the firstborn status. He put him in onlyborn status. Yahweh don't just change, levels. He can just remove somebody all out the line altogether. He said, now take your son, your only son. Yahweh, you do know I got you. You remember little man, right? Yahweh, you do remember little man, right? Now I say go take your only son. Go ahead.
Whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of.
All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 4. See, part of Israel's problem is believing that Yahweh is bound to the law that he has set forth in choosing. We don't understand that the earth and the fullness therein belongs to him. Yahweh will do away with one generation only to pick the children after, and still says, hey, I got your lineage. I just ain't get you. See, it's important that we don't think that we understand his law the way he understands his law. That's kind of stuff that can get you killed right there. When you think Yahweh, that you got him pigeonholed, and you look up and realize that you was the pigeon in the hole. Right. Where we at, brother?
Exodus
chapter 4. And started at verse 18.
And Moshe went and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, let me go, I pray you, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be alive. And Jethro said to Moshe, go in peace. And Yahweh said unto Moshe in Midian, go, return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought your life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and set them upon an ass. And he returned to the land of Egypt, and Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, when you go to return into Egypt, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And you shall say unto Pharaoh, thus says Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Wait a minute. So now the whole nation has taken on the name of Israel, and he says, this is my firstborn. So the children of Israel represent something higher and greater than themselves. He said, you go and tell them that's my firstborn now. Now there's going to be consequences and repercussions. He don't take care of his business. Go ahead.
And I say unto you, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if you refuse to let my son go, behold, I will slay your son, even your firstborn.
All right. So he said, you got my firstborn. I'm telling you what I'm going to do to your firstborn if you don't let mine go. Let's go to Numbers chapter 14. So even Yahweh's plagues and punishment had some understanding in it. It went deeper than just, I'm going to do something to you. You know, we get mad. We just want to do something. Now, when Yahweh do something to you, it's going to be directly connected to something you done already done. You step on something of his, he say, you know what, I'm going to take that left foot, because that was the one you put on my... What? See, we fighting. We just hitting something. He's no. It's going to be directly connected to what it was you did. So if you think back, if you look back to see what's hurt, you can figure out what you did if you think long enough. Numbers chapter 14, and let's start at verse 1.
And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, what Elohim that we had died in the land of Egypt, or what Elohim we had died in this wilderness? And wherefore has Yahweh brought us unto this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt? And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt. Then Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Yephani, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If Yahweh delight in us, then he will bring us into this land, and give it us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only rebel not you against Yahweh, neither fear you the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and Yahweh is with us. Fear them not. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones. And the glory of Yahweh appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel.
So Yahweh got to show up to keep them from stoning his servant. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, How long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me, for all the signs which I have showed among them? I will smite them with the pestilence, and disinherit them.
Wait. Disinherit. See, Yahweh is not bound by the law of inheritance because it's his law. He said, no. I will disinherit them. I'll remove them from my will. Go ahead.
I will make of you a greater nation and mightier than they. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, Then the Egyptians shall hear it, for you brought up the people in your might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that you, Yahweh, are among this people, that you, Yahweh, are seen face to face, and that your cloud stands over them, and that you goeth before them, by daytime in a pillar of cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now, if you shall kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of you will speak, saying, Because Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. And now, I beseech you, let the power of my Adonai be great, according as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving lawlessness and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the lawlessness of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I beseech you, the lawlessness of this people according unto the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. And Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to your word. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of Yahweh.
He says, and Yahweh says, I have pardoned according to your word. You understand just how much power that is, that you can have a conversation with Yahweh, your Elohim, and he pardons according to your request? This is why, sometimes if you carry a certain amount of power, you have to be careful what it is you go pray about, what it is you go and mention. When Daniel prayed, what it said, hey man, from the minute you start praying, folks was already sent to you. Now what if he changed his mind on the prayer? So he's Yahweh, give me such and such. Oh, it's already on the way. And then a couple of days later, you know what? Yahweh, I was thinking. What you thinking about? Because that stuff you asked me about, there's two folks standing outside your door with the swords ready to go take care of that business you told me. What happened was, now, see, I learned. I found out them were my sister kids. I ain't even know. I ain't even know. Yahweh, when I said that, I thought them were the kid from down the street. I thought them, but see, what I found them my sister kids. So what I'm saying is, I'm sorry. What can you tell them dudes to leave? No, them dudes got the sword out. They ready to go take care of that business. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereunto he went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelt in the valley. Tomorrow turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation, which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me.
So you have to consider what's happening. Because Yahweh has brought the children of Israel out, they actually feel as though Yahweh is obligated to do something. They don't think that they have to love or honor or cherish anything that Yahweh has given them to do. They believe that it's due to them. They believe that it is their right. So they're just a tad bit arrogant with it. Go ahead.
Say unto them, As truly as I live, says Yahweh, as ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me.
Right. So this is where he puts this into play. Okay, this is going to be the punishment because this is what you said. But what happened? He just changed the inheritance from one generation to the next. But because it's the same bloodline, guess what? Yahweh still kept his covenant. He has removed a whole generation out of going into his land and still kept his covenant. Why? Because those children are representations of you. So he can stand up straight and say, I brought you into the land. Well, I mean, not you. But your boy, split an image of you. That little girl, split an image of the mama. I sent them in. Go ahead.
Doubtless you shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Yephani, and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, which you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have despised. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years, and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in this wilderness.
So they just waiting on you to pass, so they can pass over the threshold and go in. Go ahead.
After the number of the days in which you search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall you bear your lawlessness, even 40 years, and you shall know my breach of promise. I, Yahweh, have said it. I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die.
Right. Now understand, it says they are gathered together against me. In their mind, they're only going against Moshe and Aaron. Go ahead.
And the men which Moshe sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up a slander upon the land.
Let me tell you something. You got to be careful how you represent something. I understand where the punishment came. These men saw the land and they came back and reported it in a way that caused Israel to have some issues. Yahweh said, I'm going to deal with the way you told your story. See, so we'll tell a story all halfway crooked. And our eyes, man, you know what I'm saying, brother just got out the car and hit me with a brick. Now, folk was sitting there like, hey, bro, I was standing there. That's not what happened. Yahweh said, I'm going to take care of your slander. Go ahead.
Even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land died by the plague before Yahweh.
They died by the plague because they gave the report in such a way that it was not favorable to his will. Now his will is not favorable because of the story you told. Go ahead.
But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Yephani, which were of the men that went to search the land, live still.
All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 32. See, while everybody walking around with tribal flags, you need to understand what can get you yanked out that tribal flag. So you can do all the DNA and lineage and all of that, and let's say you just so happen to find what tribe you actually in. Do something stupid. Go ahead, Cletus. You bad? Come on. Come on, Cletus. Go ahead. Guess what? It don't matter what tribe you was in anyway, because he just yanked you out of it. Disinherited. What good did your tribal chart do to you then? Put that on your tombstone. Exodus 32, and let's start at verse 11.
And Moshe besought Yahweh his Elohim, and said, Yahweh, why does your wrath wax hot against your people, which you have brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce wrath and repent of this evil against your people. Remember Abraham, Esaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you sware by your own self, and said unto them, I'll multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And Yahweh repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. And Moshe returned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of Elohim, graven upon the tables.
Now, there ain't nothing to make you feel more stupid than talking to a greater power about somebody. Leave where you at. Go right to where they at and see them doing everything opposite of what they supposed to be doing. There ain't nothing to tick you off more than that. Man, you know, I just got through talking to these people about you. Folks want to know, hey, man, you know, can you give me a referral for a job? Hell to the no. I'm not referring you. Hell, you ain't showed up to church on time in the last 2 years. I'm not referring you. Them folk gonna ask me, hey, what's up with your boy? We supposed to start on Monday. Your boy show up Wednesday afternoon. And then I think back, well, you know what? That's the same thing he did at church. Hell, we had Bible study Wednesday. He showed up Thursday. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moshe, there's a noise of war in the camp. And he said, it is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came near unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moshe's anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and brake them beneath the mount.
Check that out. Now he done slammed down something that was made by the hands of Elohim. But you understand, he's got to be exceptionally angry. Man, I just spoke for y'all. I just got through asking for mercy for you. And when I get back to the house, this is what you do. This is what's here. Go ahead.
And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it in powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7. That these were people that Yahweh has went out of his way to go and get them out of bondage, only to try to find a captain to lead them back into bondage. And we said, that is some mess. All right, well, let me show you some mess. All right, you was in bondage on Glenwood. Yahweh went out of his way to go get your raggedy ass off of Glenwood. You then look for a captain to go and lead you back to Glenwood. Right. Jeremiah chapter 7. Let's start at verse 1.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Stand in the gate of Yahweh's house, and proclaim there this word, and say, Hear the word of Yahweh, all you of Yehudah that enter in at these gates to worship Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the El of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I'll cause you to dwell in this place. Trust you not in lying words, saying, The temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh are these.
Now, what's happening here? Now, the house is more important than the Elohim who is supposed to be worshipped in the house. The house has become more important than all the ordinances that you're supposed to be keeping in the house. So now we care more about the public perception or the public image of being who we are than rather really being who we're supposed to be. Go ahead.
For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor.
Right? Whoa. That sounds easy. But what happens when an altercation show up at your door? How do you deal with it? See, your fringes ain't going to do that for you. So you put your fringes all over. No. It's the words that come out of your mouth that going to take care of it. How did you deal with that when the situation and circumstance popped up? Were you considerate of the other entity in front of you? He said, if you amend your ways, then I will cause you to dwell in this place. You know what's confusing? The people saying, but we already dwelling here. He said, not for long. Keep on doing what you're doing. He said, I got a lot of property. You ain't got to stay in here. So I have a nice little shack out there in the woods. You can go live in that. But you're going to figure out something. Go ahead.
If you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt, then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers, forever and ever.
And this has to be confusing if you already in the place. And he's saying, if you amend your ways, I will cause you to dwell in the place. They don't understand that he already got the eviction notice in front of him. This is the point that your grace is running out. We don't have sense enough to know. Sometimes we stand in an arrogant place and you don't know that your grace about to run out in this thing. See, it sounds strange to be living in a place and he says, if you amend your ways, I'm going to let you live in the place, but you don't understand that he got the eviction notice right there. Once he signed it, it's done. Ain't no more repenting, ain't no more changing, it's over. Go ahead.
Behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom you know not, and come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we're delivered to do all these abominations? Is this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, says Yahweh. But go you now on to my place which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Israel.
Hey, the first house couldn't stand because of wickedness. You think I won't do the same? Go ahead.
And now, because you've done all these works, says Yahweh, and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but you heard not, and I called you, but you answered not.
Right. He said, I rose up early. I sent people. He said, I called. I had somebody call you. But in our arrogance, let God be the truth and every man a liar. Let me tell you something. It's a man that he used to call you. You didn't think Yahweh was going to part the heavens and just call you. Just one little raggedy knuckle off Glenwood and Covington. You know what I'm saying? You thought he just stopped the whole earth. All the constellations stopped everything. He just paused everything. Hey, Timmy, come here. Timmy Johnson, you come here. You really think that what happened? You really think that what's going to happen? He going to stop all that for you. Right. Go ahead.
Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I've done to Shiloh.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 20. Matthew chapter 20, and we're going to read verses 1 through 16.
For the kingdom of Elohim is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and says unto them, Why stand you here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man has hired us. He says unto them, Go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall you receive. So when even was come, the master of the vineyard said unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last on to the first.
Now, if he had done this the other way around, he wouldn't have a problem. Because, see, we're not the kind of people who stay around after we get paid. I'm just saying. I'm just serious. Look, if he paid the ones who got there first, they gone. They don't even know what the other people got paid. They don't find out till next week. They find out next payday. What you mean y'all got the same thing? You talking about last week? You got the same thing I got? They don't even know that yet. But because of how he's doing this, they're going to end up seeing. Go ahead.
And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny.
And now they're angry. They got what was agreed upon. But because of other situations and circumstances that they have witnessed with their eyes, they have renegotiated the contract in their heart. But he gave them what he had promised. Go ahead.
And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house.
All right, because now it's not good enough. Go ahead.
Saying, These last have wrought but an hour, and you have made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do you no wrong. Did not you agree with me for a penny? Take that it is yours, and go your way. I will give unto this last, even as unto you.
Right. If we dealing with salvation, what other payment can you get? You want salvation plus one? Go ahead.
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own?
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? All we have read is Yahweh doing what he will with his own. Is it mine? Well, then I change the order as I will. It's mine. Go ahead.
Is your eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen.
Right. Now, after reading and going over, you find out that the biggest part or issue, the curse of the first is arrogance. If the first is supposed to get a double portion, you can understand that over time, their effort will diminish because the first believe that it's their right and thus Yahweh's responsibility to give them what they want. They no longer believe that they have to do anything for it. When you consider Cain and Abel, what was Cain's problem? Hey, I should automatically be accepted. He didn't try to fix or alter. No, the arrogance of I should be accepted regardless of what I give. That is an issue. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Exodus chapter 34. And understand, Yahweh has said that Israel is his firstborn. But let me tell you something. Walk in arrogance with it if you want to. Let that stuff fool you that you be seeing on the internet. I'm going to tell them, you know what I'm saying? Kiss my feet, slave. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep on following them fools. Go ahead. Exodus 34, and let's start that at verse 4.
And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moshe rose up early in the morning and went up into Mount Sinai, as Yahweh had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tables of stone.
Right. Now, it's the redoing of what was slammed down and broken the first time. So the first tables, even though they're written by the hand of Elohim, they don't get to abide. Go ahead.
And Yahweh descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving lawlessness and transgressions and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the lawlessness of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children, on to the 3rd and to the 4th generation.
Right. There's some things that we can be causing issues for the people who come in after us, not just us. Go ahead.
And Moshe made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshiped. And he said, If now I have found grace in your sight, O Adonai, let my Adonai, I pray you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our lawlessness and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. And he said, Behold, I make a covenant before all your people. I'll do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which you are shall see the work of Yahweh, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with you.
It is a terrible thing that I will do with you. But in the presence of great power, we have to exercise the great responsibility that comes along with that. We can't say that we are the firstborn of our Father and then not deal in that double honor. If we don't deal with it right, then we will receive double dishonor. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.